Welcome to This Explainer. I gotta tell you, I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're tackling something that is fundamentally shifting how we interact with technology. Let me ask you a quick question. What if software didn't need those exact step-by-step instructions anymore? What if instead you could just give it a goal and it figured out the rest all on its own? Well, that's exactly the magic we're exploring today as we demystify AI agents. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We are going to cover what are AI agents, the pre-training revolution, specialized agents, model selection and execution, workflows, RAG and frameworks, and finally, the evolving human role. All right, let's kick things off with section 1. What are AI agents? So, this isn't just a minor update to existing tech, right? It's a complete ground-up shift in how we build software. Think about traditional software like a super rigid recipe. If you want tea, you have to explicitly instruct the software to boil water, add the leaves, and add the sugar. If you forget to code in add ginger, it is absolutely not adding ginger, no matter how freezing cold it is outside. It follows exact steps and literally cannot deviate. But an AI agent? That's more like an experienced cook. You don't hand them a strict recipe, you give them a goal. You say, hey, it's freezing today, make us some great tea. The agent, using its built-in intelligence, autonomously decides to toss in some ginger and adjust the sugar to taste. It actually understands the goal and adapts to the context. Because of this, AI agents possess 3 really core traits. First off, they don't just offer you suggestions, they make real decisions. Imagine you send a smart helper to the market for vegetables. You don't specify the exact veggie. They use their context awareness to see that the spinach looks incredibly fresh today, so they adapt their behavior, pick the spinach, and then, here's the kicker, they autonomously pay via digital UPI app without you ever having to write a script for that transaction. That is an autonomous agent in action. Moving right along to section 2, the pre-training revolution. Now, how did we even get here? Well, building traditional machine learning models used to be like opening a local neighborhood grocery store completely from scratch. You had to find a location, get all the licenses, hire staff, collect massive amounts of data, manually label every piece of it, and train it on ridiculously expensive GPUs for months. Just exhausting, right? Modern large language models, though, are like firing up an instant delivery app like Swiggy or Blinkit. The companies behind these models already scraped billions of pages and pre-trained the data for you. So now all you have to do is make one simple API call, and boom, you get instant access to a pre-trained brain. You're not building the store anymore, you're just ordering what you need. Which brings us to section 3, types of specialized agents. Here's the thing. You don't just use one giant generic brain to solve every single problem. Instead, we create specialized agents. Think of it exactly like a hospital. When you go to a hospital, you don't see a generic doctor for every single ailment. If you break your arm, you go to a bone specialist. Ear issue, you see an ENT. Agents are designed the exact same way. We give them specific system prompts, targeted knowledge, and very specific tools so they become absolute experts in one dedicated domain. Let's look at a few common roles these specialized agents are taking on today. We've got agents for business automation, research, and analytics. And these are literally saving data analysts days of tedious script writing as we speak. But the ones driving massive market value right now? Those are conversational agents that are entirely replacing legacy chat support, developer agents writing and reviewing actual code, and domain-specific agents handling highly complex tasks in fields like finance and medicine. Let's jump to section 4, model selection and execution. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that selecting a model is exactly like buying a car. Are you going to buy a practical compact car, a luxury BMW, or a high-tech EV? It entirely depends on your needs. Commercial models, like GPT or Claude, are highly reliable and easy to set up, but you pay per API usage. Open source models like Llama, on the other hand, are totally free to access, but you've got to foot the bill for the heavy infrastructure cost to host them on your own custom servers. You constantly have to weigh those trade-offs between speed, costs, and accuracy for your specific use case. And once you've picked your model, how does it actually execute tasks? Well, we are rapidly moving from synchronous to asynchronous execution. Synchronous execution is basically like a waiter taking your order, walking to the kitchen, and then just standing there with their arms crossed, staring at the chef until the food is done. It's a massive waste of time. Modern AI agents are asynchronous. They drop that order off in the kitchen and immediately pivot to go serve water to another table. An AI agent today can make an API call for data, and while it's waiting for that data to come back, it just spins up a sub-agent to start building the user interface at the exact same time. Section 5, workflows, RAG, and frameworks. Let's move on and see how this builds up from simple all the way to complex. You always start with simple code, just basic scripts. Honestly, if your problem can be solved by a simple scheduled cron job, stop right there. Don't over-engineer it. But if you need more reliability, you move up to deterministic workflows with clear if-then routing. Next up the ladder comes RAG, where you add specific knowledge, and finally, at the absolute peak of complexity, you build fully autonomous agents with their own tools and memory. The golden rule here, always match the complexity of your solution to the actual complexity of your problem. Now, I mentioned RAG just a moment ago. That stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Remember, the LLM has already read the whole public internet, but it definitely hasn't read your company's private chat history or your proprietary internal PDFs. RAG is the vital bridge that securely injects your specific private knowledge base directly into the LLM. It gives the AI the exact context it needs to actually be useful for your specific business. To tie all of this together, developers are using modern agentic frameworks. Before we had these, developers literally had to manually write every single tool and function from scratch. It took forever. Now, we have these incredibly powerful frameworks doing the heavy lifting for us. You've got LangGraph for node-based flows, AutoGen, which is just brilliant for making agents talk to other agents, CrewAI for incredibly fast task-based prototyping, and SDKs from OpenAI and Vercel that handle built-in tool calling completely seamlessly. These frameworks replace manual tool building the exact same way modern web frameworks replaced writing manual server code. It's a real game changer. Finally, Section 6, the evolving human role. Look, I know a lot of developers are feeling a bit of an existential crisis right now. But let me assure you, human jobs aren't disappearing, they're just getting a massive upgrade. The old way meant you were the task executor. You had to manually write every single line of code, hunt down every little bug yourself. It was a grind. But the new way? You are the task manager. You're assigning goals to your AI agents, reviewing their output, and managing the overall system architecture. You are no longer the junior developer. Congratulations, you have officially been promoted to manager. And of course, as a manager, you have new, much higher level responsibilities. Your focus has to shift toward designing scalable architectures. You absolutely must rigorously monitor your API token costs, because I promise you, one small infinite loop mistake can turn a tiny server bill into a massive financial disaster. You are also the one ensuring security, making sure you give the agent the least privileged access possible so it doesn't, accidentally delete a production database. And most importantly, the human always holds the ultimate responsibility for the final code review and pull request approval. The AI might write it, but if it breaks in production, that responsibility is still 100% yours. Which leaves us with this final thought. The tools have completely changed. The speed of execution has skyrocketed beyond belief. But the human focus on users, security, and smart management, that is more vital today than it has ever been. So ask yourself, if AI is your new junior developer, are you ready to step up and become the manager? Think about that, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.